Gildan Media, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Strategic Project Leader, Mastering Service-Based Project Leadership, 2nd edition, by Jack Ferraro. Narrated by Adam Lofbomm. Forward. There are 7 words that any sponsor wants to hear from the project manager at the completion of any project, small or large. Those 7 words are on time, on budget, according to specs. Having a career both in academia and as an executive in a public company, I have seen how our businesses succeed or fail with the success or failure of our project teams. But all too often, critical organizational projects fail. And as Jack Ferraro states in this book, people fail. Those projects that are completed are frequently late, over budget, or deliver less than promised, reducing business value. The cumulative impact of poor project performance has a devastating impact on shareholder value and on customers and employees. In my career, I have seen students, faculty, and shareholders negatively impacted by projects gone awry through poorly thought-out processes, inept leadership, and organizational dysfunction. As global competition, the speed with which business must be done, and attention to costs all increase, project management has never been more central to the success of any business. And the need has never been greater for Jack Ferraro's The Strategic Project Leader and his approach of service-based project leadership. I have sponsored mission-critical projects run by Jack and have seen how project leadership can work when it is done correctly. The 2nd edition of The Strategic Project Leader builds on the 1st edition's competency and self-directed leadership models to guide not just project managers, but anyone in a leadership role on projects to master service-based project leadership. This new approach to project leadership delivers results for all stakeholders when applied to delivery teams and project offices. I have seen it in action. The evolution of flat, matrix organizations that use temporary work teams to advance projects requires a different type of leader. The traditional academic research on leadership applies to formal organizational reporting structures, repeatable work, and stable worker relationships. Many knowledge workers spend at least part of their time in temporary matrix organizational team structures and execute unique work that involves a lot of ambiguity and risk. As a result, project management is no longer the luxury of professionals whose sole responsibility is to provide expertise in the methodologies of project management. Instead, the author argues for a concept of transformative service-based project leadership, in which the emphasis is no longer on procedures and rules, but instead focuses on being a service provider who initiates and sustains transformation, starting with people and through them affecting their institution. This is not a lofty philosophical speculation, but a nuts and bolts method for reinventing and reinvigorating the business of project management. Jack tells us that for project management to remain relevant, we must redefine project management leadership through the alignment of our values and convictions to create significance in our project work so that, at a minimum, it serves the best interest of all stakeholders through better decision-making. The service-based project leader embraces efficiency, customization, foresight, and connectedness to make project management more scalable in organizations overwhelmed by too many project priorities and too few resources. A service-based project leader achieves their goals while creating a meaningful experience for team members, customers, and stakeholders. This is not a book for professional project managers alone. Jack understands that in today's lean and agile environment, those businesses that succeed need to unleash the creativity, initiative, and energy of their employees. Therefore, leaders, sponsors, champions, and C-level employees all need to understand these concepts. This book provides a framework to rethink how we can use project management not just to accomplish work, but to transform and energize our businesses. Like most executive sponsors, I also measured by on time, on budget, according to specs. But I agree with Jack's premise that we need to look beyond these traditional measures. Not ignoring them, but ensuring that valuable project investments are initiating and sustaining business transformation. On a personal note, I have been privileged to sponsor project work led by Jack. One of the projects we worked on together involved more than 90,000 active users and involved hundreds of stakeholders with a lot to gain or lose by the outcome. This project involved great expense. It had dozens of vocal, cross-functional teams and many demanding milestones, and took 17 months to complete. Through Jack's service-based project leadership, He helped us define our parameters and articulate our vision for the future. And in the process, he energized our team. When it was completed, we had not only met our objectives, but had gained a very different understanding of our business and where it was headed. Nothing is more important than that. By using the tools in this book, not only will your organization's projects have a greater chance of coming in on time, on budget, and according to specs, but your organization will sustain the continuous transformation required to remain competitive. Dr. Frank B. McCluskey, Provost and Executive Vice President, retired, American Public University System. Introduction. Introducing a new kind of project leader. It's time to rethink project managers' roles and responsibilities, whether you are an executive or a practitioner. Instead of coordinating, administrating, and reporting, project managers should be providing quality services in project management and change management to team members, customers, and all other stakeholders. Project managers' value proposition increases when they can facilitate good decision-making, enable critical human connections, customize project processes to meet the unique needs of stakeholders, and grow the capabilities of their team and their organization. Project managers will be more valued when they consistently serve the best interests of all stakeholders. If you are an executive relying on projects to deliver results and have become frustrated with delays, cost overruns, and dissatisfied customers, it's time to reconsider the role of your project management office, PMO, and practitioners. Rather than a process, governance, and reporting entity, frame the PMO as a service provider to all of its stakeholders. Projects tell us much about who we are as individuals and how well we work with others. Projects don't fail. People fail. People are the common denominator across all projects. If you are leading project teams for executives, you need to know this. Project management is now for everyone. Engineers, functional managers, analysts, all stakeholders. Project management knowledge has been dispersed among project teams and customers at a rapid pace. The role of the professional, career-oriented project manager is being rapidly redefined. Increased organizational project management maturity has resulted in project management vernacular and process becoming ingrained in stakeholders, reshaping the role of the project manager into either a coordinator or a leader. And the difference between these two roles is vast. Although organizations will still have a need for coordinators, their value will continue to diminish. Some organizations already require project-aware team members, such as engineers and analysts, to coordinate among themselves, eliminating the project manager role altogether. Leadership on projects, however, continues to be in great demand. Organizations struggle to find the right mix of technical and people skills to shepherd complex strategic projects and programs. With the pace of change hastening, complexity increasing, and project failure rates still unacceptably high, old paradigms and constructs are being cast away and new approaches are being sought. When executives and practitioners view project management as a service, the focus changes from staying within the lanes of a methodology with its processes and templates, to driving stakeholders' experiences within the project environment to accelerate the accomplishment of something significant. Yes, project management is a service comprising processes, tools, and techniques. This service must be aimed at all stakeholders in pursuit of the common good, rather than the particular needs of a select group of stakeholders. This opportunity that awaits organizations, PMOs, and practitioners is to separate from the pack, to move from coordinating to leading and transforming, from departmental projects to strategic enterprise projects, from routine processes and outdated tools and techniques to facilitating decision-making, empowering and growing people, building meaningful relationships, and accomplishing significant results. If the profession of project management is to remain relevant, we must redefine ourselves, before others do it for us, as critical components to our organizations and industry. There is a new role for us, the service-based project leader. This role serves the entire project organization by creating a meaningful experience for team members, customers, and critical stakeholders. This experience initiates the transformation of people, including yourself, and the transformation through people of systems and organizations. This service encompasses a duty to initiate and sustain transformation because of our unique position as a spearhead of change. Do not assume that a project leader is less critical now that organizations flatten their structures as they attempt to increase knowledge sharing and collaboration. Many organizations are unaware of the need for this critical servant leadership role, although others have been aware for quite some time. Standard processes, methodologies, and technology do not ensure good project decision-making, clear factual reporting, or the development of team members for leadership roles. Temporary project teams are central to an organization's ability to drive change and achieve specific business results. Teams working in temporary organizational structures devoid of the stability and consistency of work are increasingly asked to pull off strategic projects that involve a tremendous investment of financial, material, and human resources that positively or negatively impact the future of the organization's health. An organization's health is deeply impacted by teams' ability to produce positively disruptive, mission-critical implementations of technology, business processes, and change management initiatives. Success requires unprecedented collaboration across an organization's lines of business, and even across the entire enterprise. What we have been doing is not working, or isn't working as well as it needs to. We need fresh, bold ideas and courageous service-based project leaders. If you feel the urgency to create this transformative service-based project leader in yourself and in your organization, self-directed leadership development, as described in this book, will be required. Self-directed leadership development is an intentional change process by which an individual, inspired by personal convictions and a purpose, develops and carries out a plan to improve his or her leadership competencies in a safe, supportive environment. Executives play critical roles in creating this supportive environment. Although self-directed, this kind of journey is not taken alone. Of course, you must help yourself to truly change. But self-directed project leadership is an avenue through which you grow internally through your project life, with your team members, sponsors, and even customers. Today, you have the opportunity to combine your project management discipline with leadership competencies that allow you to serve your sponsors and customers with distinction, creating greater value for them, and increasing your career growth and satisfaction. If you can make this dramatic leap to being a service-based project leader, you will find a much more meaningful and lucrative career in driving successful change in organizations. As people who are passionate about project management, we are obligated to unleash the potential power of project leadership to reshape our organizations into better ones that serve society and their employees. We all benefit greatly from the combination of authentic leadership capability and competent project management. Whether it's a home project or the transformation of an entire business, project management is an essential life skill, as well as a valuable skill for any C-level position. Continued meaningful leadership development experiences, starting within the project management ranks, can enhance and accelerate your career and provide substantial benefits to your organization as global markets continue to accelerate organizational change. Unfortunately, although many leaders in charge today talk about leadership, they are still taking the safe route of focusing solely on processes, not people. Certifications have been devalued, and there is no credible leadership formula for project managers to adopt quickly and easily. We must develop ourselves as service-based project leaders if we are to grow professionally and fully realize our individual and collective potential to impact the world around us. My goal for this book is to instigate change through you by providing a practical guide through which to move from project manager to service-based project leader, using self-directed leadership development. My hope is that you will take ownership of the tremendous potential of combining project management capability with a purpose you believe in. I hope that this will lead you to move beyond project management knowledge and tools to true service-based project leadership, and to position yourself for greater leadership opportunities within and outside of project management. In the end, this is a call to action for project managers to mobilize into customer-focused, service-based leaders who will leave a legacy of positive change in the world. Section 1. The New Project Leader. 1. Leadership in Project Management. A Defining Moment. Introduction. Consulting in project management has left numerous impressions on me. One is that many project managers today don't seem very satisfied. Sometimes I am not very satisfied. Some project managers are experiencing doubt as to whether this career is for them. Others are permanently changed from being caught up in an extraordinary project that went sour ruining careers and reputations. Surprising? No. We know the statistics and witness the extraordinary sacrifices project teams and project managers sometimes have to make to deliver projects. On the other hand, projects often positively influence the lives of project managers, their customers, and their extended communities. Those projects seem to have moments when a few people make remarkable contributions that positively alter the direction of the project. Their unique fingerprints cover the project, and they have left their individual, personal mark and influence behind. A forensic project scientist can see the positive, indelible impact these leaders have had. My story. Success is a wonderful thing in any discipline. Success on projects is unique in the number of people it benefits in various ways. I began my career with some relatively straightforward system integration projects. I was young and had lots of energy, took on anything thrown my way, and quickly established myself as a project manager with a proven reputation. I took a hands-on approach to my projects and managed every detail. My customers seemed very satisfied, which meant they paid their invoices on time. My management was content because my projects delivered revenue and better than expected profits to the bottom line. I quickly won praise from my peers and gained additional responsibilities for large projects and new customer engagements. For me, it seemed that success bred success. As demand for my skills grew, my projects grew in size and number, and I poured more energy into managing the details of each project, which together spanned time zones from Europe to California to Australia. As time passed, stress levels grew, energy levels sank, and I became frustrated with customers, teammates, and management as I began to lose my prized control. Project profits failed to meet expectations, and customer acceptance turned into an arm wrestling match. Success had stopped breeding success. I became so stressed, angry, and temperamental that eventually I lost the confidence of my customers, management, peers, and myself. Are we better off? Before considering what went wrong for me, let's consider the industry. Almost anyone in project management is aware of the enormous growth, maturity, and recognition that have swept the industry over the past 20 years. Certifications of project managers have skyrocketed. The Project Management Institute boasts of more than 500,000 project management professional (PMP) certifications, and project management offices (PMOs) are finding their footing after the Great Recession. Educational activities, professional communities, and social media groups have sprung up around the world, making project management a globally recognized skill for individuals and organizations of all sizes. But project management in most organizations remains a challenging profession, if not a brutal one. There is no clear career path from project manager to C-level positions. Project management responsibilities are being bundled into other job roles such as analysts, engineers, and business managers, diluting the value of the practitioner. The pace of organizational change is relentless, and the pressure to manage costs requires one to juggle multiple projects. Executives may view project management as strategic to execution, but often view project managers as a tactical component rather than a strategic component of their organization. Why would anyone sign up for this? I hope you can find the answer to that question in this book. If you are tired, maybe burn out from the project management grind, I hope this book will give you a lift and help you define a purpose behind the long hours, organizational conflicts, and struggles in managing organizational change. As long as there is a need for organizations to change, project managers will operate in a treacherous environment, have accountability but little authority, and simmer in complexity and information. Project managers must balance the daily stress of project management and demonstrate value to stakeholders, while also managing their personal lives. 2 types of project managers. When writing the first edition of this book in 2005, I stated, increased standardization of project processes, codification of tacit knowledge, globalization of project management, enhanced technologies, information overload, and greater project complexity are driving increased specialization of project management functions. The industry is poised for dramatic changes in how it views project practitioners. Let's look at what has happened. The trend to specialization has occurred, with more focus on speed and the agile methodology. The project management researchers are now embracing complexity and chaos theories in research and practical applications. Many customers require specialized experts in areas such as risk, scheduling, budgeting, procurement, and so on. Others require experts in control and reporting, while still others need leaders. Specialization increases competition within the profession. Some skills will be viewed as more valuable than others, depending on customer needs and project characteristics. What I failed to see back then was how these specialized functions around projects are being absorbed into non-project management functions. Project management is not just for project managers anymore. For instance, an executive assistant is asked to administrate procurement records. A PMO manager controls the schedule based on capacity, and accountants maintain the budget. These traditional command and control project management roles have been obliterated and scattered over various positions in the organization now that standard project processes are in place. This leaves the stakeholders less dependent on the project manager to be the glue holding it all together and driving change. In Agile Scrum methodology, there is no project manager, but a Scrum Master. This will lead to a defined split in the types of project managers organizations need: coordinators and leaders. Project managers who coordinate. These individuals provide management with a place to get information and disperse instructions. They help push and retrieve information across enterprise silos. They have no authority and often little accountability. They work in continuous flow systems of projects and tasks, tracking, coordinating, and reporting to management where things stand and why. Hence, they are rewarded as such. Project managers who lead. Project leaders spearhead the unique solution to extraordinary organizational problems. They make it happen and bear the burden of expectations about results. Of course, they motivate, communicate, set examples, plan, set goals, listen, persuade, align, adapt, create, and so on, within a temporary work organization. But the crucial activity of a project leader is facilitated decision-making. Decision-making drives momentum, and good decisions drive toward success. A project leader's connection to the sponsor's vision and the reality of the work being performed by his team makes the project leader's role as decision facilitator of utmost importance to all stakeholders. The project leader is arguably a unique animal, operating within a temporary organization with limited authority and much accountability, and requires skills related to personal effectiveness and project management. Project leaders also require intuition about the situation at hand and foresight to understand the future. The project leader's value proposition lies in leading projects and programs that do not have ready-made solutions. You are probably reading this book because the role that is most relevant to you, now or in the future, is the project leadership role. Understanding leadership. What is project leadership, and how do we achieve it? There is no simple answer. But the first step is to understand the various leadership theories and how they relate to project management. It is common for senior management to ask an ordinary manager to take a leadership role in a corporate strategic initiative, often overlooking a project manager poised to lead. This usually requires an individual to dedicate a significant portion, if not all, of his time to the initiative. Most project managers would love to be dedicated to just one project. The downside of this situation is that everyone from the CEO to the administrative assistant knows who is driving the initiative and whose reputation is at stake. Consequently, the outcome of the initiative is likely to have a significant impact on the individual's career. Carol's story. Such was the case with Carol, a vice president who was tapped to lead an organizational change initiative associated with a new business model and technology. The project would affect more than 5,000 employees. Readiness required significant changes in job functions, consolidation of positions, restructuring of geographic territories, and $50 million in new technology. To meet senior management's benefits expectations, Carol would lead a team in implementing new processes and change the ingrained mindset of the business unit managers, who had operated independently for years. In defining the readiness activity, management offered Carol some needed coaching to help her adjust to this new high-profile leadership role. In my first conversation with Carol, she said, "Jack, I know my strengths and weaknesses. I have taken a 360-degree and various other assessments. Besides, there are thousands of books on leadership available. Who is to say which one is better than any other?" Carol's point is a valid one. Who is to say which expert holds the answers? So I asked her, "Which ones do you like? Which authors do you gravitate toward? Bennis, Lencioni, Blanchard, or Goleman? Which theories make the most sense? The trait, behavioral, participative, situational, or transformational? Maybe we can discuss them. Carol stumbled a bit and then confessed she had not read much on leadership, but felt she did need some help. The point is, anyone serious about project leadership must have a broad base of leadership knowledge, because it will allow a better understanding of oneself and one's environment, and help define the kind of leader one aspires to be. Just as project managers must continuously build project management knowledge, skills, and experience. If one desires to become a project leader, one must continuously build leadership knowledge, skills, and experience. This base allows the sharpening of awareness, application of natural or learned skills, and experimentation with leadership skills on projects you lead today. Effective leadership. Extensive research is available on how one becomes an effective leader. All of the competing theories flow from either the trait theories or behavioral theories. The trait theory states that leadership is inherited. Many people still believe that leaders are born with innate qualities that make them more likely to be good leaders. The behavioral theory of leadership takes the position that, by observing the actions and behaviors of leaders and mimicking them, one can learn to be an effective leader. Behaviorists attempt to measure the actions and behaviors of leaders by observation to determine how they lead. Then aspiring leaders can mimic or learn these actions and become effective. But these theories are really just the beginning of understanding leadership. The appendix covers many of the leadership theories applicable to project management. Project managers must also have insight into an extended project environment. They must have keen insight into a situation and how it impacts their customers, team members, and themselves. Some environments foster top-down decision-making, while others support consensus-driven decisions. Either one will influence and impact the effectiveness of the project leader. The unique circumstances of the situation play an enormous role in leader effectiveness and team behavior. What is at stake? Who is impacted by the outcome? Who is accountable? What are the perceptions of influential stakeholders? These questions and many more create myriad circumstances that influence a project leader. Leadership is complex. There is no set formula, and project leadership is uniquely problematic due to the lack of authority inherent in the project manager title. Success is often temporary at best. Attempting to lead in project management requires knowledge of self, awareness of stakeholder preferences and their messages, and the ability to quickly interpret, synthesize, and act upon the continually changing situational dynamics of the project environment. Leadership itself is changing. It is becoming more dynamic due to greater reliance on independent workers instead of a dominant leader and follower model. Leadership competencies are also changing. Decisiveness, resourcefulness, and doing what it takes are being replaced by participative management, relationship building, and the creation of an environment in which teams flourish. Leadership is being viewed as a collective and shared process, rather than as a top-down one. Leading by serving a stakeholder's best interest, not one's own interest, has been identified as a top 10 trend of project management. A practitioner once asked me after a presentation where the practice field for this stuff could be found. I answered, "It's in your office or place of work, Monday through Friday." There is no real practice field. We learn this by experiential, on-the-job training. You have to create your own classroom for leadership experiences. Time is too scarce to randomly try quick fixes or the latest leadership fad. Leadership is learned from the inside out, as you absorb the outside, your environment, into your heart and mind. Challenges for practitioners. Transforming yourself into a project leader is not a quick or easy process. The change must be thoughtful and intentional. The journey is unique for everyone, but the road is filled with common experiences. You must overcome the reasons why you will not act to become a project leader. There are real challenges, but there are also excuses. These excuses are usually rooted in fear. Most of the excuses are related to the lack of authority, the inability to lead, and organizational resistance. Let's discuss each excuse briefly and provide a rationale for dismissing it as a reason for you not to become a project leader. I don't have the authority. I often hear, project managers don't do that here. Successful leaders do not attain their leadership positions by waiting for superiors to appoint them. Leaders don't wait for someone to tell them to lead. They start the process. They reach for more responsibility and create opportunities for themselves by serving the interests of others. There is often more implied authority in serving others, and it is sometimes...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?